I never thought I'd be the kind of person who goes through someone else's trash. But there I was, at 2 in the morning, standing barefoot on the cold concrete of my garage, staring at a black garbage bag I'd pulled from my neighbor's bin. My hands were shaking, not from the cold, from what I'd seen inside. Let me back up. We moved to Oakmont Estates 3 years ago. My husband Derek got promoted, and suddenly we could afford one of those houses. You know the kind. Perfect lawns, 3-car garages, HOA meetings where people argue about fence heights. Everyone waves, everyone smiles, everyone has secrets, but they're supposed to be the boring kind. Affair with the tennis instructor, Botox at 40, that sort of thing. Our neighbors, the Castellanos, lived 2 doors down, Richard and Vanessa. Early 50s, no kids, money that came from somewhere vague, something about investments and real estate. Vanessa hosted book club. Richard coached Little League even though they didn't have children. Model citizens. I liked Vanessa. We'd have coffee sometimes. She always asked about my son, always remembered his science fair projects. She had this warmth about her, this way of making you feel seen. Then one Thursday, Derek came home late from work looking strange. Not guilty strange, frightened strange. "You okay?" I asked. He nodded too quickly. Long day. But he kept glancing at his phone, and when it buzzed, he'd leave the room to check it. This went on for a week. I'm not proud of what I did next. I checked his phone while he was in the shower. There were texts from a number I didn't recognize. The messages were short, coded almost. Same time tomorrow. Bring the envelope. Don't tell anyone, not even her. Her. Me. My stomach dropped. I thought affair, but something felt wrong about that theory. Derek wasn't acting guilty, he was acting scared. Friday night, I pretended to go to bed early. Instead, I waited until Derek fell asleep, then I got dressed and sat by our bedroom window, watching. At midnight, our front door opened quietly. Derek walked out, got in his car, and drove away. I followed him. I know how this sounds, but I kept my distance, headlights off until I was far enough behind. He drove through our neighborhood, turned left on Maple, then right on Birchwood. Then he pulled into the Castellanos' driveway. I parked 3 houses down and waited. The lights were on inside their house. Through the windows, I could see shapes moving. Derek, Richard, and 2 other people I didn't recognize. They were in the living room, talking. Derek handed Richard something, a manila envelope. I sat there for 40 minutes. Finally, Derek came out. He looked exhausted, defeated. I drove home faster than him and pretended to be asleep when he crawled back into bed. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. What was in that envelope? Why Richard? And who were those other people? Vanessa invited me over for coffee that afternoon. I said yes. I needed to see inside that house again. Everything seemed normal. We talked about the usual things. She mentioned Richard was at a golf tournament. I smiled and nodded and asked if I could use her bathroom. Instead, I went upstairs. I don't know what I was looking for. Evidence of an affair? Blackmail? I opened the door to Richard's office. It was neat. Too neat. A desk with a computer, filing cabinets. I tried one. Locked. Then I saw it. On the bulletin board behind his desk, there were photographs, Polaroids, houses in our neighborhood, each labeled with an address and a date. Our house was there, and beneath each photo there were names, not the names of the people who lived there now, different names, strangers. I took a picture with my phone and got out of there. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the photo I'd taken. I recognized some of the addresses, the Hendersons' house, the Pratts, the Kims. I started searching online. I typed in the names from Richard's board, cross-referenced with the addresses, and that's when I found them. Obituaries, missing persons reports, accidental deaths. Every name on that board dead or vanished, and every one of them had lived in Oakmont Estates. My mouth went dry. I looked up our address. The name under it? Lydia Marsh. I searched her. Lydia Marsh, died 2019, carbon monoxide poisoning, accidental. She lived in our house 4 years ago, right before we moved in. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab Derek and shake him and demand to know what the hell was happening. But I didn't, because I realized something else. The dates on those photos, they were all after the deaths, like someone was documenting, keeping score, and Derek was involved. I waited for the next Thursday, trash day. The Castellanos always put their bins out the night before. At 2 a.m., I crept outside. I opened their trash bin and found a black bag that felt heavier than it should. Inside, there were papers, shredded but not well enough. I took the bag home. It took me an hour to piece together enough fragments, bank statements, contracts, and one word that appeared over and over: beneficiary. Richard wasn't just documenting deaths, he was profiting from them. Life insurance policies, estate sales. I didn't understand all of it, but I understood enough. People were dying in this neighborhood, and someone was making sure of it. I looked at Derek, sleeping beside me, my husband, the man I thought I knew, and I realized I had two choices. I could go to the police, but with what? Shredded trash and a photo of a bulletin board. And what if they didn't believe me? What if Derek was in too deep? What if I was next? Or I could pretend I never saw anything. Go back to coffee with Vanessa, go back to waving at Richard, go back to sleep. I'm still here, in this house, in this neighborhood. I smile at Vanessa when I see her. I don't ask Derek where he goes on Thursday nights anymore. And every time I hear a siren in the distance, I wonder if it's coming for me or if it's already too late for someone else. I never looked at the trash again, but sometimes, late at night, I think about Lydia Marsh, and I wonder if she knew.